Okay, I'm here in my studio and I'm going to show you a little bit of a different way of doing some recording. Amanda showed you the way she does it, and I use some multi-tracking and create different layered tracks for some recordings for my choir parts as well as my cantor parts too. This is a software called Garageband, and I use it on my Mac. It's really, really good. However, if you have a PC, you can use something like Audacity, which is an open source recording software. It's free download. Or if you want to pay a little bit of money, you could get something called GOLDWAVE. I've used both of these. GOLDWAVE is about $50, and you can download these right from the internet as well too. But here on GarageBand, they work the same way. I have several tracks here, and if you wanted to add different tracks, you would just go up to this plus sign, click it, and then you could add more tracks similar to what Amanda was showing you on her piece. I'm going to do a simple song here, and I changed the title here to piano. If you just click onto this, you can type in whatever track name you want to call it, and I did the same thing here with the vocal track. And let's do a simple song here. I'm going to do the piano part just for something that we would all know. Lord, who throughout these 40 days? Okay, so there you have just the piano part, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come down here to the vocal part. I'll backspace to the beginning. You can see there's a little bit of lead time here, which helps you to get prepared. And then I'm going to go ahead and record just the vocal part. You're going to hear the piano slightly in the background. Lord, who throughout these 40 days for us did fast and pray, teach us with you to mourn our sins and close by you to stay. There you go. Then you can edit this. You can come back here. Let me do the backspace. You can take out some of this lead time, but you should do that before you start doing the vocal because you want to be able to make sure that these line up exactly right. Now, when you hear the vocal part, I'm going to go ahead and cut on over here to save time. Lord, who throughout these 40 days for us did fast and pray, teach us. It sounds a little bit flat, so you could come down here to the reverb section and add a little bit of reverb. Listen to what it sounds like when I add about 50% reverb. Teach us with you to mourn our sins and close by you to stay. So that might be a little bit of too much reverb. Then you can back that down a little bit too. So you can do all different kinds of things. I do this with my cantor tracks, and you can do this with your choir tracks too. So let me show you a little bit about an example here that I did with my choir. This one was called Mary Did You Know? And that's going to be coming up soon. You can see I have many tracks here. I have a kind of a master track that has an overall recording that I use as the background. And then I created separate tracks for soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, along with the piano parts for each one of them. And so, say for example, I wanted to make an MP3 file just for the altos to listen to. Well, I'll go back here and I'll mute. Let's take the piano and make sure that comes up. I'll mute these other tracks. And then that way you can see that these are highlighted here. This is the alto piano and this is the alto vocal. I'm going to come on over here and you'll hear how it's the predominant sound if I just go ahead and play it. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would someday walk on water? So what you can do is by highlighting those tracks and muting the other ones, you can go ahead and create MP3 files. To do that, you would come up here to share. You would export the song to a disk. And what you have here is some options of the kind of quality of sound that you want. I usually click onto the MP3 file. I'm going to save it to my desktop here. And then once I've created MP3 files of all of the different parts, I'll move them up into Dropbox into a file called Mary Did You Know? And that way my choir people have tracks for each one of their parts. And you can do this for all your songs. As I said, it takes a little bit of time, but once you have it, and as Amanda said, once it's done, it's done. And if you bring it back next year, you can just upload those tracks, and boom, everybody will be able to do some of their homework at home on their computers or smartphones or tablets or whatever they're using to listen to these tracks, and it'll greatly improve the quality of sound that you have in your choir. So hopefully that helps you a little bit.